Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Sunday morning. I hope you all are doing really well and we've got some exciting news to talk about this morning. It looks like Frank Lampard has within, I was going to say 24 hours of being the Everton manager, but he hasn't even been officially announced as the Everton manager yet. Is this the first time that an Everton manager has managed to sign a player before actually being officially announced as the manager themselves? Donny van der Beek has agreed to join Everton on loan from Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano, as well as a number of really reliable sources, have stated this morning that it is a done deal. Everton joined the conversation late into the negotiations between Manchester United and Crystal Palace for the loan deal for Donny van der Beek, and according to, as I said, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein and a various number of sources, Donny van der Beek chose this morning that he would want to join Everton over Crystal Palace. We'll get into the details of the deal in a moment. We're still awaiting official confirmation of Frank Lampard's appointment as Everton manager. I'm sure that will literally come at any moment within the next sort of few hours or so. That is literally why I was late to the live stream, because I was thinking, are they going to announce this at 1:30 and I'm going to be sitting here talking about Donny van der Beek when they announce Frank Lampard. It is, from what I've gauged, pretty much a done deal. I know there's a little bit of anxiety around the Lampard stuff because it's not been officially announced yet, but you know, as far as I sort of believe, it's probably because of, you know, interviews and contracts and paperwork and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing to state that this isn't a done deal, and there's nothing to state that we aren't literally, you know, again, minutes, hours, you know, away from it being officially announced. It seems to be imminent, and a lot of the talk regarding Donny van der Beek and his decision to join Everton was because of Frank Lampard, and apparently Frank Lampard has been made aware of Donny van der Beek's decision this morning. So really exciting news. As we sat down yesterday and when we spoke about Frank Lampard and the news that it seemed like Frank Lampard was the leading candidate and he was going to be offered the Everton job, we spoke about, you know, the need for Everton now to go out and bring in some players before the end of the transfer window, because ultimately, you know, it's all well and good bringing in a manager, be it Frank Lampard, be it Duncan Ferguson, be it Vitor Pereira, but if we can't go out there and strengthen this squad before Monday's deadline, then we're going to be in serious trouble. And we all knew, and we've all spoke for the last, you know, however many days, weeks, months, about, you know, a centre midfielder being absolutely key to, you know, Everton's transfer business in this window. And, you know, obviously we heard the news last week that Abdoulaye Doucouré and Fabian Delph are going to be out for quite some time as well. So it left us really thin in regards to options in the centre of the midfield. Obviously Alan, you know, Andre Gomez, Tom Davis is obviously out injured, so you'd have Alan, Andre Gomez, Tyler Onyango, Jean-Philippe Gabama. Not many options whatsoever in that centre of the midfield. So it was absolutely imperative that we went out and we brought another one in. Obviously Ruben Loftus-Cheek was linked a lot over the last couple of days or so because of his connection with Frank Lampard, obviously from his days at Chelsea. And there was a couple of other midfielders, Dele Alli, Ross Barkley, also all being linked. You know, Jesse Lingard, who's a little bit of a different player, but still, you know, in and around the same sort of position. All being linked to a move to Everton over the last 48 hours or so, ever since, you know, the Frank Lampard deal has become quite apparent. And Donny van der Beek was a name that wasn't really in that sort of list. You know, we crept up every now and then over the last week or so, and that I think was because Manchester United were looking to send him out on loan and Everton were looking for a midfielder, but there wasn't any real sort of serious you know, interest, I believe, you know, from the last couple of weeks or so, until late last night, as we said, when Crystal Palace seemed confident that they'd be able to get a deal done for the Dutch midfielder. Everton crept in at the last minute, you know, and began talks with Manchester United, agreed a deal with Manchester United late last night, the same deal, I believe, that, well, a similar deal that Crystal Palace had agreed with Manchester United. I believe Everton's stated that we would cover all of his wages, and I think Crystal Palace were only willing to cover 80 or 85% of his wages. But, however, Manchester United had agreed deals with both clubs, and it was up to the player himself to decide who he wanted to join, and he's made his decision this morning, and that is said to be Everton. Obviously, nothing has been confirmed yet, so, you know, I know a lot of people adopt this whole, I won't believe it until I see the, you know, I won't believe it until I see Donny van der Beek at Everton with an Everton, you know, shirt at Finch Farm, and it's the same with Lampard. A lot of people are saying I won't believe the Lampard stuff until I've seen it officially announced, and that's fair enough. and that's fair enough. But as I said, a lot of reliable sources coming out and saying this one is a done deal. A lot of reliable sources coming out and believing that, this one will go ahead certainly before tomorrow's deadline. So let's get into where this news is coming from then. So again, you don't think I'm just rambling on and rabbiting absolute nonsense. It actually, as I said, come from a number of sources over the last 24, 48 hours or so. The most recent of which being Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio Romano stated literally less than an hour ago that Everton joined the race yesterday as revealed for Donny van de Beek. They will cover full salary until June plus loan fee. He said Donny van de Beek deal will be signed in the next hours. Everton will pay loan fee plus full salary until June. Palace were offering 85% of salary. No buy option. His agent Hassan Setinkaya will be in London today to sign the contract. Fabrizio Romano also said about 10 minutes before that Donny van de Beek to Everton is a done deal and confirmed the decision has been made. Here we go. Donny confirmed a few minutes ago his choice to Frank Lampard. David Ornstein said that Donny van de Beek has this morning decided to join Everton on loan from Manchester United for the rest of the season. Again, very reliable source. Everton have agreed a deal with Manchester United over the loan of Donny van de Beek. The decision is now up to the player to pick between Crystal Palace and Everton. Van de Beek will pick in the coming hours. That was according to Fabrizio Romano late last night. And then, as I said, all of the rumours talking about Everton being interested in Donny van de Beek and looking to hijack that deal. The Sunday Express also reported late last night that Everton plan to hijack Crystal Palace's loan move for Donny van de Beek. Obviously, it looks like that has happened. And Everton also have an interest in Tottenham's Dele Alli and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, obviously, we know that we were only able to loan one more player. You were only allowed to loan two players in the transfer window. Obviously, Anwar El Ghazi being one of which again, I don't want to be too harsh on El Ghazi because he's not kicked the ball for Everton yet, and he could be absolutely brilliant on loan this season, and he could have a real impact on our season, and I really, really hope he does. But, the more you think about that, and the more you think about some of the positions in which we needed to strengthen in this window, i.e. centre midfield, i.e. centre-back, the more it makes the El Ghazi deal seem stupider and stupider in that sense, and not because El Ghazi isn't a good player, or not because El Ghazi won't improve us, but bringing in another winger on loan and using one of our, only two available loan moves in this window on a player that plays in a position that we don't really need to strengthen in was ridiculously stupid in my opinion. I don't understand why we did it, but anyway, it's done. Donny van de Beek will be the second loan, so if we are wanting to bring in somebody like Dele Alli or Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it would have to be on a permanent, and I think that would make the deals a little bit more difficult. Not so much for Dele Alli. I don't think the Dele Alli deal will be much more difficult because I think Tottenham would be allowing to let him leave on a permanent, but I don't think that Chelsea would allow Ruben Loftus-Cheek to leave on a permanent, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. A bit on Frank Lampard while we're on the conversation. Phil Kirkbride of Liverpool Echo, this was last night, said Frank Lampard is expected to be confirmed as Everton's new manager tomorrow. So, as I said before, we are literally awaiting confirmation at any point. Now, it could literally come while we're doing this live stream. It might come 10 minutes after finishing this live stream. It might come at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tonight. Who knows? But as far as I'm aware, it's a matter of, as I said, a matter of minutes, a matter of hours before Frank Lampard will be announced as the new Everton boss. And it seems like he has got his first player through the door. Listen, on Donny van de Beek, I think it's a strange one. Donny van de Beek, obviously, he's coming from the Dutch league, played in Ajax. There was a report earlier today from a journalist saying that Frank Lampard first, caught wind of Donny van de Beek and his ability when Chelsea played Ajax in the Champions League semi-final. The report said that was the game that led Chelsea to sign Hakim Ziyech, and Frank Lampard at the time was also a massive fan of Donny van de Beek as well. Now, obviously he was absolutely lighting it up in the in the Dutch league. Again, a lot of players do. We had this same sort of situation with Davy Klaassen, didn't we? Really, really good midfielder. Again, seen as one of the best sort of young midfielders in that position in world football. And then he went to Manchester United, and for one reason or the other, it hasn't quite worked for him. Now, I know a lot of Manchester United fans are really adamant that he hasn't been given a fair chance by both, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and now Ralf Rangnick. I know Ralf Rangnick has used him a lot more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. But, I remember listening and talking to some Manchester United fans when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was still in charge, and pretty much every single time they were talking or they had a conversation about Manchester United, Donny van de de Beek's name propped up in it, and I think a lot of Manchester United fans felt that Donny van de Beek had been unfairly treated in regards to the opportunities that he'd had in the team. Now, I've watched Van de Beek a couple of times for Manchester United, and I've seen him, put in performances that makes you think, why isn't this fella starting every week? He's absolutely unbelievable. But I've also seen him put in performances that make me think maybe he's not quite suited to the Premier League, and that's the reason as to why, a couple of different Manchester United managers aren't as adamant to play him as certainly some of their fans are. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't. That doesn't mean that he won't be good enough for Everton. Maybe he wasn't settled at Manchester United, and I assume that he wasn't happy with the lack of opportunities he was getting over there as well, hence wanting to move on and hence wanting to get a loan deal and go somewhere else, certainly in the Premier League. And, again, if he can settle down, if he can get his head down, if he can work hard and he can find a little bit of consistency, then I think we could have a really, really good player on our hand. One big important thing is that he's a centre midfielder, which is something that we've been absolutely crying out for absolute months. And if, Donny van de Beek can make a 3-man midfield with Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré, when Abdoulaye Doucouré returns from injury, then I think that's automatically an upgrade on what we've currently got. I think he's a better player than Andre Gomez. Is he the type of centre midfielder that I would have particularly liked Everton to go for? No. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I would have rather us have gone for somebody like a Loftus-Cheek, on the basis that I think Loftus-Cheek is more physical. I think he's more demanding, and I think he's more suited to this Premier League. Technically, I think Donny van de Beek is probably a better player, and Donny van de Beek has got ability to get up the other end and score goals and create chances, and that might be something that Frank Lampard has looked at intensely and thought, this is what we need. We need another midfielder who's going to come in and be able to create. Defensively, there's question marks in my opinion, and again, I would have liked Everton, and still would like Everton before the end of the window, even though it's going to cost us a little bit of money now. I would still like Everton to go out and try and look for a midfielder that is of the same sort of ilk of Abdoulaye Doucouré, and that's nothing against Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek will have a point to prove. He will certainly have a point to prove, and in a little bit of the same sense as Frank Lampard, really. He'll want to come in, get his head down, and prove to Manchester United that he's more than good enough to play in the Premier League. He's got more than enough talent. He's got more than enough work rate to be a success in this league. There is no option to buy at the end of it, as we've just mentioned, so he will return to Manchester United at the end of the season, one way or another, and he'll want to return to Manchester United having given the impression that he can play week in, week out, a little bit like Jesse Lingard did, when he went to West Ham last season. I remember Jesse Lingard signing for West Ham, 12 months ago, and I was one of those Evertonians that said that I don't think he'll do particularly well. He's not great, and he ended up being one of their main players and was a massive reason as to why they ended up finishing in the European positions. So, Donny van de Beek could be a fantastic signing, and let's hope that he is a fantastic signing, and let's hope that he comes in and the impact that he has on this team is noticeable. And as I said, technically, he is a very, very, very good footballer. You don't get to Champions League semi-finals and be a main sort of, a main figure in that Ajax team if you're not a very good player. We've established that the Dutch League and the Premier League is very, very different, and it's easy to look great in the Dutch League and then not be as successful in the Premier League. I think Davy Klaassen proves that more than anyone, really. Davy Klaassen again now looks absolutely brilliant in the Dutch League, but when he was obviously in the Premier League with Everton, it wasn't so great. Delamere says, love not being banned from commenting on a live stream. I've never banned you from commenting on here, have I, mate? I don't remember that. But yeah, as I said, Donny hopefully will come in and get his head down, and you listen to Manchester United fans who obviously know Manchester United more than I do and more than anybody else does. They're very adamant that Donny van de Beek is more than good enough to play in that midfield and should have been given opportunities, and when he's played, he's scored. When he's been involved, he's scored goals. He's gotten in the right areas. He's made an impact. But it is a slightly concerning for me that a couple of Manchester United managers now have looked at him and obviously thought that he wasn't fit enough, or not fit enough, sorry, he didn't fit the Premier League, which is a slight worry. But as I said, I'd still like Everton to go out and bring in another centre midfielder, if I'm being honest, because I don't think Donny van de Beek is that physical, big, dominant, sort of athletic centre midfielder. He's not particularly quick. He can run. Probably quicker than Andre Gomez, but that doesn't say much. But he's not your Abdoulaye Doucouré type midfielder, and I'd be interested to see where Donny van der Beek fits in this Everton side. We know Frank Lampard likes to use a 4-3-3 and has used the 4-3-3 during his managerial career. And if we're assuming that the three in midfield will be Van der Beek, Doucouré and Allan, what is his role within that? Is his role to sort of, are you going to have Doucouré as the player that bursts forward and starts to create the chances there? You know, up top, you're going to have Van der Beek as the sort of sitter in the midfield, and you've got Allan as the defensive style of player? Or is it going to be Van der Beek that gets forward and Doucouré's the sitter? It's going to be really, really interesting to see how that dynamic works and how Frank Lampard manages to to manage that. But I'm sure he will manage it. And as I said, there's absolutely no doubt in Van der Beek's talent. I think he's a good player. I understand why some people aren't particularly over the moon by the deal, because I think, as I said, for me, I think had we have brought in a centre midfielder that was, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more quick, a bit more physical, is dominant and, of a similar sort of build and frame to Abdoulaye Doucouré, then I think there'd be a lot more excitement around it. Somebody like a Loftus-Cheek, for example, because of that type of physicality. I don't particularly think Van der Beek is particularly physical, and that's ultimately what we need at the moment. But the reality of the situation is we needed a centre midfielder. And we needed one before tomorrow's deadline, and we've got one in, and now I don't think there's any pardon me, I don't think there's any doubt of who that midfield three will be. It will be Van der Beek, Allan and Abdoulaye Doucouré when Abdoulaye Doucouré returns. And let's hope, as we said before, that Van der Beek, is coming to Everton with a massive point to prove. Let's hope that Van der Beek is coming to Everton, with the sort of the thought process of, I need to prove that I'm good enough to play in this league, and I'm good enough to to have an impact in the Premier League, because I think technically there's absolutely no doubt in that. I think the more doubt is sort of surrounded by, is sort of created with, is he physically capable of playing in this league? Is he physically, is he demanding enough? Is he quick enough? Is he quick enough on the ball? And those are things that he's going to have to be to be a success at Everton ultimately, because that's what we need. But he does improve the side. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He improves the side. As Danboy says, his ball retention numbers are incredible, and we're terrible in possession. Again, little things like that. I get that he mightn't be the quickest player in the world. I get that he mightn't be, particularly the... I've just got a notification from Sky. Let's just make sure that's not... No, it's not. He mightn't be the quickest. He mightn't be the most physical. He mightn't be, he mightn't be able to get around the pitch as much as we would like. But the simple things like ball retention, the simple things like, being able to keep the ball in difficult situations, passing the ball in difficult situations, moving us forward, just the technical side of a good midfielder, I think Donny van der Beek has, and I think that will benefit Everton massively, over the next couple of months or so, because that's something we've struggled with massively, certainly recently, over the last couple of weeks, is our passing has been absolutely, woeful. It really, really has. We've had good opportunities to create chances and to get, shots off on goal, or to get into good areas, and our passing has completely let us down. And I think having somebody like Donny van der Beek, who technically is, a really, really good footballer, of course he is a really, really good footballer, as I said. I remember when he went to Man United, I thought these have got an absolute cracking player on their hands, and for one reason or another, it just didn't really work out for Donny van der Beek, which it hasn't worked out so far. Obviously, he's only on loan, so he'll go back in the summer and that might change, but it just hasn't really worked out for Donny van der Beek at the moment at Manchester United. He's got a transfer market value of around £22 million. He's contracted to Man United until 2025. His career titles: he's won the league in Holland, he won the Cup in Holland as well. He has won the Dutch Super Cup, and he has won 2 Dutch Under-19 championships. Statistics this season: 4 appearances in the Champions League, 1 yellow card, 8 appearances in the Premier League with 1 goal. He's played once in the FA Cup with no goals, and he's played once in the Carabao Cup with no goals as well. In terms of Premier League, he's had 8 appearances. He's not started 1, and in terms of minutes, he's only had 4% of his minutes in that period. Champions League, he started 50% of the game, so 2 out of 4. FA Cup, he didn't start that game either, and the Carabao Cup, he started that game. So he hasn't really been given much of an opportunity at Manchester United. Again, there's definitely a point to say that he deserves more of an opportunity, and considering the money that they paid for him, And I suppose the ability that Donny van de Beek has as a footballer, you know, he probably does deserve more of an opportunity than what he has been given at Manchester United. And I don't know whether that was, you know, he hasn't been given that chance because the managers have favoured the likes of, you know, McTominay and Fred, or Paul Pogba in there, or Bruno Fernandes, and Van de Beek has just fallen under the, you know, that category of you just fourth, fifth in line, unfortunately. And, you know, for a player of his quality and a player of his ability, he doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be in a side consistently, and he deserves to be getting first team football. And, you know, my only real worry is that, you know, is he physically capable of playing in this Premier League? There's obviously a reason as to why he hasn't been given that chance at Manchester United. If he was an unbelievable midfielder, then he would, you know, he would have played an awful lot more than he has. He would have played more than, you know, McTominay or Fred, etc. Because they're not great players. They're good players, but they're not great players, are they? Let's be honest. So I look at it, and I have got this sort of, you know, worry, the same as what I had with Davy Klaassen when he signed. Is Donny van de Beek physically capable of playing in the Premier League? Is he quick enough? Is his football and IQ, you know, can he make decisions in the right areas quick enough to be able to cope in this league? And as I said, I've watched games where he has done it, and he's played really, really well, and you've thought, yeah, you know, he's absolutely sound in this league. And I've watched games where he hasn't done it, and you're thinking, hang on, you know, what's going on here? So it's a risk, of course. It's a risk. It's a loan deal, which means there's, again, other than the £500,000 loan fee and the wages that we're covering, if it doesn't work, he'll go back to Manchester United at the end of the season, and we'll be able to say thank you for your time. But let's hope that it does work. Let's hope that we're sitting here in 3 or 4 months' time saying what a signing Donny van de Beek was. And as I said, I think in terms of the player himself and the attitude that the player will have coming to Everton, I think he's exactly the right type of calibre of player that we need. I really, really do. He's coming in, he'll have an attitude of sort of, you know, I need to get my head down, I need to work, and he'll have an attitude of, I need to prove that I'm more than good enough to play in this league, if not for Manchester United, for somebody else, because he's coming to an Everton side that, let's be honest, are in an absolute shocking situation at the moment. I know we've got a new manager in, and things are seemingly, you know, a little bit more positive and a little bit more upbeat and all of that sort of stuff, but league position-wise, you know, we still haven't won a game for however many weeks. We've still only won 1 game in 12, and we're still in an absolutely shocking position in the Premier League. So, you know, it's a difficult task for Donny van de Beek. In fact, it would have probably been easier for him to join Crystal Palace. He'd have probably got an easier run at it. You know, it'd have been less stressful. But this is his chance now to come into a side that would need heart, need desire, need passion, need commitment, need players that are going to work, fight, you know, battle, you know, fight for every ball, fight for every pass, fight for every shot. We need all of that. And Donny van de Beek will have to be able to bring that if he's going to be a success at Everton. We are, as I said, we are live. If you are watching live and you are enjoying, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. We've got 343 people watching and only 70 likes. If you could get the likes up, that would be absolutely fantastic. It would mean a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel, by the way, which I know there's a couple of people that are new because I can see them in the live comments, please hit that subscribe button. That only takes a second as well, and it means a massive amount to me as well. As I said, we are literally imminently waiting Frank Lampard's appointment as Everton manager. Phil Kirkbride from The Echo said yesterday that it will be, or it could be announced today. So it literally could be announced while we're on this live stream. It could be announced after the stream. It could be announced tonight. Who knows? But when it does get announced, we will be going live with another live stream talking about Frank Lampard, and when Donny van de Beek's transfer, loan move, hang on, bear with me 2 seconds. Need to clean my throat. When Donny van de Beek's loan move gets announced as well, whether that'll be today or tomorrow, probably more likely tomorrow, we will be going live talking about that as well. And tomorrow we'll be live all throughout the day. I'm off work tomorrow, so we'll be live all throughout the day talking about the latest transfer news. I'm sure we'll have the Donny van de Beek news fairly quickly, and then hopefully Everton can go out and do a bit more business as well, because that's what we need to do, don't we? Listen, Van de Beek's a good signing and a good player to bring in, and now obviously we haven't got another loan move. Now we can't make another loan move, we can't bring anybody else in because of that rule of only being able to bring 2 loans in. So if we are wanting to go and bring in somebody else, if we are wanting to go and bring in is it being announced? Has it? I knew they'd announce it while I was on this live stream. I absolutely knew it. Has it been announced? People are saying club's confirmed. Has it? No, the club hasn't confirmed. Frank Lampard, get in, it's done, check Twitter. says Callum. Are we talking about Van der Beek? I know Van der Beek's a done deal, according to Fabrizio Romano, but I thought you were talking about Lampard then. The club haven't officially announced Lampard yet, so you nearly give me an heart attack then. But yeah, like I said, again, I think he's a good player. I think he's a good sign. Fagman said Frankie goes to Goodison. Where is the shade? Donny goes to Goodison as well. You know what? I had a comment yesterday, and I can't remember who commented it. But if you're watching live, let me know, because I'm giving full credit to you. I said on the stream I'm going to copyright the slogan "Frankie goes to Goodison," because I just think it's amazing, and I'm going to lash it on a t-shirt. But then somebody commented Frankie goes to Halewood, and I just thought that's even better. If you don't know what that reference is, Everton's training ground, USM Finch Farm, is in Halewood in Liverpool. So the fact that it's Frankie goes to Halewood, that's just amazing for me, absolutely amazing. Callum says we're talking about Donny. Oh yeah, I know. I know Fabrizio Romano and Ornstein and a lot of other journalists have said this, but it hasn't officially been announced yet. Nothing is a done deal, until it's officially announced by the club. Lampard isn't done until it's officially announced by the club, but hopefully it will be announced today. So yeah, I'm out. Crack on, says Kev. Nice one, Kev. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, let's hope that as I said, he can come in, he can prove himself, he can get his head down. I think, again, physicality, let's hope that he can bring that side as well. And, it's a good signing. Ultimately, it's a midfielder. We needed another midfielder. I think Donny van der Beek has got a lot of talent, absolutely got a lot of talent, and certainly got enough talent to bring something different to Everton. And to ultimately, he improves Everton's... midfield tenfold, doesn't he? Let's be perfectly honest with you. We're talking about a player who, is fantastic in terms of his technical ability. It's just about whether or not he can put all of those components together, which will be interesting. He's only played 579 minutes in the Premier League, 27 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 yellow card. So considering he's been at Man United now for 2 seasons nearly, season and a half, he hasn't really had an awful lot of chances. He hasn't really had an awful lot of game time, and he will be wanting to come into Everton and and prove that, as I said, he's capable of being, able to do it in this league. And I am confident that he will. I am confident. As I said, I think in terms of the type of midfielder he is, I would have liked Everton to have maybe gone out, and still would like Everton to go out. I don't see why there's no reason Everton can't go out and bring in, somebody for 5-10 million. Zakari is still out there. I know he's been linked with Manchester United, but again, would be a really, really, really smart signing, or somebody of that ilk that can come in, be that battler, be that physical presence in the midfield, and improve our options. Imagine we end tomorrow night. Imagine we're sitting here on Tuesday with Donny van der Beek in the midfield. Another midfielder who again is a bit more in the sort of mould of Abdoulaye Doucouré in there as well. Maybe a centre back as well. We'll be looking much stronger than what we currently are. But Van der Beek is a good start. He is a good start, and as I said, a transfer that Frank Lampard has clearly had a lot of influence on. And let's hope that he comes in and he gets his head down and he works hard, and ultimately he'll have a point to prove. And as I said, that's the type of player that we need to bring into the football club. It's the same with Damari Gray in the summer. Players that are 24, 25, sort of, again, at that age where you're thinking, you've really got to make it now. You've really got to prove that you're good enough to be at this level, who have got not young players who are thinking, I've got loads of time left. If I don't do it this season, I'll do it next season. Not players that are 30 odd thinking, I'm not arsed, I've been there, I've done it, I'll just plot along. Players that are looking, thinking, I've got to make an impact now. I think Donny van der Beek will be one of them. There's a Palace fan in the comments saying Championship next season. Clearly a little bit sour that Donny decided that he didn't want to go to Palace, but there you go. I don't know why you'd be sour. Everton are literally in a relegation battle and Palace are sound, so I don't know why there's anything to be sour about, but there you go. What Malangs are from Chelsea, says Jake. I think he'd be a good signing. We could do a good deal on Phil Jones, says CP. You're all right, mate. You're all right. Zakari probably cost 50-60 million. He was just an example of the mould of player that I think we should be in the market for still. Because I just think we're desperately in need of one, and we also need a centre half as well. But this is good. It seems like we've got a manager in who is young, hungry. wants to prove himself. Again, will have a lot to prove in terms of his management and how capable he is as a Premier League manager. And he already has brought in a player who, again, young, hungry, point to prove, bags of ability, wanting to impress. And, we've still got 24 hours or a little bit more left until the transfer window shuts, and we need to utilise that now. Some people are asking me, do you think this will be a Cam? Do you think this will be the only signing? It'll be the only loan, because we're only allowed to make 2 loans, and we've already got one in El Ghazi. But I'm hoping that there's a little bit of money there to try and bring in maybe another 1 or 2 players. Bounce back abilities, the Palace fan says, wanted Van der Beek quality player, I'm just playing. He will thrive at Everton. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. I really, really do hope you're right. Let's get into some of the live comments then. Nearly 400 people watching, by the way, 2 away from 400. If you could get to 400, that would be absolutely unbelievable. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. If you could get the likes up at 129 likes, 400 people watching, if you could get those likes up, that would be absolutely immense. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. That would be perfect to me. As I said, we will be going live later today when Frank Lampard, or if Frank Lampard gets announced as the new Everton manager. As I said, I think we're a matter of hours, minutes, maybe even away from Frank being officially announced, and as soon as that deal is done, we will be going live on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe so you keep up to date with that. Hit that little bell notification as well, so whenever we go live, that's when it has happened. Also, when Van der Beek is officially announced, be it today or tomorrow, probably more likely tomorrow, we'll be going live talking about that as well. And obviously, as I said before, we'll be live all the way throughout tomorrow, transfer deadline day, as we always are, talking about the latest Everton news and rumours. So please do hit that subscribe button if you are new. 152 likes now, unbelievable. Over 400 people on a Sunday afternoon have decided to come and watch me have a little ramble and a little chat about Everton. Unbelievable. I honestly can't thank you all enough for the support. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button. That would be amazing. Semi says Frank Lambs. Jason says maybe Stevie G could do as a recall. Yeah, not a chance. Listen, again, El Ghazi could turn out to be a fantastic signing as well, and we have to get behind El Ghazi, and he's not kicked the ball in an Everton shirt yet as well, so it's, we can't really sit here and judge him and say, I just think in terms of the fact that we can only bring in 2 loan players and we've wasted one, not particularly on El Ghazi, but just on a player in a position that we didn't really need to strengthen in. That's more my problem, but he's here now. And he's signed, and he's an Everton player, so let's hope that he gets his head down, and let's hope that he's absolutely unbelievable. Basic says, to be honest, Lampard could be an alien and I wouldn't care if he kept us up. James says, imagine a world where there's an appetite to take a Wobie off our hands on a swap deal. Ghazi looks like a stupid loan signing. Now, the decision to bring in a winger on loan is a silly loan signing, in my opinion. Stay tuned to Sky Sports Today, says Eugene. Wouldn't listen to the Red Echo, says Everton FL. Dave says, we need the number 6 badly. Well, we do when Alan needs a rest, don't we? You're spot on. That's Machete for you. Impulsive, says Trevor. Kev says, yeah, towards Liverpool to go into a natural state of decay, left it for dead. Are we getting Loftus-Cheek, Lingard and Dele Alli? I doubt we'll get all 3, and Van der Beek, to be honest with you. We can't get any of them on loan because Van der Beek's coming in on loan, so if we were to get, Lingard, Ali or Loftus-Cheek, they would be a permanent deal. And out of those, I think you're more likely to get Lingard out of 3 because he's out of contract at Man United in the summer, and I think you would be more likely to get him on a permanent than a loan deal anyway. There was rumours earlier today that Chelsea weren't willing to allow Loftus-Cheek to go out on a permanent deal, so again, that one looks less and less likely. And the Dele Alli one's interesting. I think Tottenham would let him go out on a permanent Dele Alli, but it's whether or not we'd have that money that they'd want to sell him for. I suppose we'll wait and see. Basic take bang on, it's completely immaterial, says Andy. Fartenberg says, wonder if we'll see Donny van der Beek versus Brentford. He's cup tied, I believe. He's played in the FA Cup this season, so the first time we'll see him is Newcastle, which will be a massive game. Hopefully he has an instant impact. Sam says, how long does it take to announce a manager? Stressing me out. It'll be done in due course. We've just got to be patient. Kevin says, what Everton need to do is get behind the manager and the team. We need points and get up the table. Simple as. Spot on, mate. Spot on. Come on, Lampard. There we go, says Asherman. Ockham says, Benitez was a cop-out. Delamere says, I'm not getting into the... Listen, I know there's been a couple of things that have gone on around football at the moment. Disgraceful, sickening stuff I've seen on Twitter and read on Twitter today, but it's nothing to do with Everton, and it's nothing to do with Donny van der Beek signing for Everton, so we're not going to get into it. But they're rightly focused on getting the players in for Lampard once, rather than focusing on the manager announcement. Well, I think the manager announcement will come in due course. Maybe the club are looking on doing a dual announcement with Van der Beek and Lampard. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Frankie goes to Halewood and Donny delight to save departing toffees. I don't know. This is why I'm not a journalist. I can't make headlines up. He lit up the Champions League as well, says Jack. He certainly did. Can he run, says Basic. Hopefully, mate. No, he can. Again, he's not. I'm not saying he's slow or he can't get it. He can get about the pitch. I think he'll do well. He's just not maybe as quick as what we would like in that area. But again, he's a different type of player, and he's a player that Frank Lampard will have to be able to, integrate within the side along with Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré. Can we have more loans from abroad, says Dan Boy? I don't think we can. I don't know why Millwall. I literally don't know why you're in here, pal. So see you later, my mate. Stop it, Cam says Wormy. Stop what? EFC Graphics says Lampard announcement today. Save all the signings till tomorrow. Maybe. So glad Mina got suspended. Yeah, Yerry Mina. His has returned from international duty after picking up a suspension in his last game, so he was unable to play in the next games anyway, which is great. He's returned and he isn't injured, which is brilliant. And Don Franco, we trust, says Semi. Wormy says manager's done, it's Lampard, just paperwork, why it's done announced. Yeah, I would say the same. Donny, champion of the world, says Glenn. Hope he gives Bramley-Moore a go. Well done, the mods. Van der Beek means from the river in Dutch, so do something with that. Interesting. Give me a second. Loads of Liverpool fans in here today. I don't know why. You've literally just signed a really good player and you're in here talking about Everton. Mad. If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. If we could get to 200 before we end the stream, that would be amazing. 178 watching. Nearly 500 people watching live as well, which is ridiculous. That I just can't even believe this is happening. So thank you all so much. That would be amazing. We can have loans from abroad. Says is it 2 loan moves, 2 Prem moves and 2 abroad moves? So yeah, we can still bring in players from outside of the Premier League, but that still means that Dele Alli, Lingard, Loftus-Cheek would be unavailable unless we were willing to pay the transfer fee for them. Yeah, there you go. We don't need Lingard or Dele Alli. We need a number 6. Only used this year. Lingard will be a weakening potential. Newcastle. Interesting. Stevie Lamb, what's happening? Stevie says, not sure about Frank Lampard. I'd rather have had Frank side bottom. Interesting. Well, he's in now, so we'll have to get behind him and we'll wait and see. Apparently, it's 2 domestic and 2 non-domestic loans, so we can still loan players, but we still can't loan the players that we're being linked with because they all play in the Premier League. So it would be 2 players from abroad. Go and give Idrissa Gana Gueye a phone call. He's not coming back to Everton, by the way. I put a tweet out on our Twitter the other day about Idrissa Gana Gueye, and a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, has he been linked to Everton?" And it was literally just me saying I want us to sign him back. There was no rumour; it was just me. Mark says Van der Beek's a great bit of business, not better than getting a player with a chip on his shoulder, the points to prove. Come on, you Blues. That's exactly what we need at the moment. They're the type of players we need at Everton Football Club. Players with a chip on the shoulder and a point to prove. That's exactly what we need. 100%, mate. 100%. Juventus offered 6 million for Zakaria, says Paul. Glenn says we need El Ghazi for a cup final. He's great at scoring pens, to be fair. He is absolutely brilliant at scoring pens. I've just nearly smashed this little console box thing I've got to bits there by accident. Silly me. Daniel says we should go out and get Douglas Luiz, 35 million. Only thing is FFP's young and quality. Yeah, and would he leave Villa for Everton? It is Villa he's at, isn't it? I am thinking of the same player. Yeah, Villa. Would he leave Villa for Everton? I don't know. Really good player though, and at a really good age. Good news for Van der Beek and Lampard. Glenn says, how many loans are we in out? We'll allow 2 domestic and 2 abroad. Frank Kessie is out of contract at the end of the season. Could Lampard offer a cheeky £15 million bid? See what they say. I would like Frank Kessie. I think he'd be a great player. For Everton, again, you can only ask and see what gets said, but, maybe Lampard will know what we need. He's already brought in a midfielder before he's even been announced himself because he knew we needed a midfielder, so he'll know what we need. Chris says it's starting to feel like Monty Python Holy Grail waiting for the manager announcement, like get on with it. Yeah, it is, but it will come. THJ's donated £5 to the stream. He says keep up the good work, Cam. Thank you very much, my mate. Really do appreciate that one. The Mardi Gray Mark II with Donny van der Beek. Let's hope so. Rondon woke up this week. Listen, Rondon's got a new sense of rejuvenation, hasn't he? Lampard's in. Rondon scored an hat-trick. Lewis Dobbins, signed a new contract. It's just, he loves it, Rondon. He loves it. Big up Rondon. Latest on the manager stuff, according to Simon Johnson, who is a reporter for The Athletic. He has said that Chelsea coach Anthony Barry has held positive talks with Everton. Attended Samir versus Forest Green yesterday, but was not main purpose of the trip. Lampard really wants some sources to describe the situation as a win-win, whether he stays or goes. Anthony Barry, by the way, is a fantastic coach. And if Everton managed to get Anthony Barry in alongside Frank Lampard, then it would be an unbelievable coup, because Anthony Barry is, as I said, widely regarded as one of the best coaches in this country. He's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. So if we can manage to get that deal over the line, if we can manage to get Anthony Barry in, then it would be fantastic. Adam says, can we going to sign any more players? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know. I think we'll be Brentford. I do. Can we terminate El Ghazi's loan, says Blue Cali? It's not happening, is it? Listen, all as we can hope now is El Ghazi comes in and is absolutely unbelievable. Lights it up, scoring constantly. Again, unlikely, but, winning us games, scoring big goals, having an impact. That's all we can hope for now. He's an Everton player till the end of the season, and we've got to get behind him and hope the very best. Can't wait to see Patson at right back. Me too. You're good at this, Cam. You're smashing, says Kevin. Thank you very much. Would it upset you if Ferguson was removed from the coaching staff? It would be upsetting, because Dunk's such an icon at Everton and been here for so long. But if it means he was going to go out and get experience and manage somewhere and get that experience that he probably could do with to be a manager in the future, then I think it will be best for both parties. But it will be upsetting, because it's Duncan Ferguson and he's leaving Everton, and we know how much Dunk loves Everton, and we know how much Dunk means to Everton. Anthony Barry is an ex-Everton Academy player, says Reece Jones. He is. He did go through the academy program, says Falkenberg. He did. He was in Everton's academy when he was young. Reece says Barry is a top coach. I went to a seminar with him at St George's Park. He was a very impressive coach. He is. He's a fantastic coach. What do we do with Moise Keane? He's gone. Moise Keane won't return to Everton. Anthony Barry will sort our shock and set piece record out. Sick of being terrified of corners. Me too, mate. No comment saying we'll allow more loans from abroad. The limit of 2 only. Yeah, spot on, mate. That's Dan Boy. And Johnny says Lampard is what Tom Davis needs to kick on. Davis has been woefully mismanaged since he broke into the first team. I actually agree with that. I know a lot of people don't rate Tom Davis. I don't think he's great, and he's not great. He's a decent Premier League player. He's not unbelievable, but I actually agree with that. I do think he's being mismanaged, if I'm being honest with you. I do. Give him time, says Joel about El Ghazi. We haven't seen him play yet. Yeah, I understand. And apparently Anthony Barry was in the same youth team as Rooney. Interesting. All right, mate. Big fan of the channel. That's obviously Liam. Thank you very much, my mate. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, look, there you go. That is going to do it for this live stream. Donny van der Beek looks set to join Everton on loan until the end of the season. As I said, Everton will cover 100% of his salary, and I believe will pay a loan fee of around £500,000. That's what's being rumoured anyway. Everton joined the race late into the situation with Crystal Palace, who were looking confident, more and more confident that they'd be able to get Van der Beek over the line. But Everton joined the race and were willing to offer Van der Beek, obviously, a more a nicer situation. I don't quite know how, but and Van der Beek has decided this morning that he wants to choose Everton over Crystal Palace, which is really, really, really interesting. So there you go. Donny van der Beek. I'm sure we'll hear more about this over the next 24 hours or so, and we'll be live on the channel as and when that news breaks, as well as and when the news of Frank Lampard becoming Everton manager breaks as well. We'll be back live, so don't forget to join us for that one. 468 people watching. Unbelievable. If you could hit that like button, it would mean a great, great deal to me. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That'd be fantastic as well. Thank you, Cam. Always appreciate the content, says one D. Purdy. Thanks, mate. Whole club is being mismanaged, says Queensbury. You're spot on. Play for Villa, says Wormy. I wish to watch my first game at Goodison Park as an Everton fan in 2023 and smash LFC over the park. Go, Frankie. Let's hope so. Think Lampard is for the long term. I hope so. Queensbury said Lampard signed. Is that official? Is it official? If it is official, we'll be going live in literally the next 5 minutes talking about it. But let's wait and see. We'll be going live as soon as the Lampard deal is announced either way. Is it being announced now? No, I don't think so. But I'm sure. Oh, here you go. Jay Burt. Frank Lampard has just signed his contract to be Everton manager. Pictured here with agents Leon Angel and Frank Stiboli. So there you go, Lampard. Again, all but announcement now, as we knew it was anyway. To be fair, there's no surprise there. We knew it was an inevitability anyway. We'll wait for the announcement from the club, and then we'll be back live with that. Hopefully that comes at some point today. The Van der Beek stuff, as I said, maybe more likely tomorrow, but we'll wait and see. Who knows? We will wait and see, and then we'll be live with that as well. But until then, massive thank you all for watching. No Idea says, nice one, catch you when some more news drops. Thank you very much, my mate. Cheers to everyone for watching. Sorry we couldn't get involved with all the live comments, but thank you all so much for getting involved. If you are new to the channel and you're interested in hitting that subscribe button, please do. It only takes a second. And yeah, if you like the video, then leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, if you're watching a YouTube video, leave it down below, and I'll try and get involved with as many of them as possible. But until probably later today, when the manager's announced, we will be back. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.